Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I don't know when you're watching this, but I wanted to do a little demonstration regarding how easy it is to make changes in a painting. When I got back to my studio and looked at this, I realized that some of the proportions were a little squat, and also I feel like this is a little high on the canvas. I was doing too much to try to keep that leading edge of the table in, and I'm just going to scrap that idea. Now, I think, one easy thing that you could do would be to just wipe it all out and start over. Problem with that approach is that usually you end up making exactly the same mistakes all over again. So if you leave what you've done already there and then go in with a slightly different color, I'm using my Prussian blue just so that it stands out a little more, and I wasn't real happy with how the ultramarine was working in this painting, so I'm going to introduce Prussian blue into the mix here and go in. So basically what you want to do is ignore and embrace what you've already done. There are some parts of the painting that I'm okay with in terms of like how it's laid out across the painting, but I feel like everything needs to move down, and the scale is a little squat. So I'm going to go in now and redraw using what I've already got there as a guide. I'm going to redraw and say, okay, I need to move this guy down, say to here, and also make him a little bit broader as well. I'm mixing the paint with a lot of water so that I'm just putting this on thin above what's already there. Something like that placement, and then the front edge of my table is going to drop down to here. But you see, I'm covering what's already there, and then that's going to make it pretty easy to come in and make changes with other areas of the painting. So now that little yellow guy is quite a bit larger, and by dropping him down a little bit, you see I'm able to get a little more height in this red bottle. I'm not even sure that's as low as I want this. I'm going to cut that down just a little bit more so that he's only, say, to here for right now. And I'll just, come in and mass out some of that bottle behind so that now the top of my yellow aerosol can only comes to here. Alright, the next thing, I need to move this guy down and find his placement, and he's actually going to come all the way down to here and maybe get a little bit wider. Or just shift over to the right a little bit. Something like that. Oh, I feel much better about that placement. And then this light blue can that's sitting on his side, come in like so, maybe get him just a little bit wider. The big takeaway from this, I don't want you to feel like anything is ever stuck in your painting. You know, if you see something that's not right, or you're not happy with it, make the change. Don't just keep fiddling around and working with something that deep down you know is not right or is not working. So, blowing that scale up a little bit here. Okay, this may look a little confusing right now while I'm doing essentially the line work, but once I get this worked out, and start laying my color in again, I think you'll find that it's far more successful than what I had. That actually needs to come up just a little bit higher, maybe almost right where it was. Maybe make him just a little bit wider. I may stay up pretty high there. Looking at where I'm at here. Yeah, that's about right. And this gray bottle now is going to come down like so. Actually need to move him over a little bit too. Painting is always about looking and seeing and making corrections and revising. Say about here. I'm going to come in and mix a little bit of kind of a green for my background. All that Prussian makes a much better green than what I was getting with the ultramarine. See, now I'll start to come in and say, okay, I want to get rid of what's going on here in terms of what, you know, was still there from the earlier iteration of the painting, if you will. And see, as I'm coming in with that background color again, I'm redrawing because I realized I had gotten this guy too wide for where he was, and I need to shift him over a little bit. So I'm letting the background come in right now to help me work that out a little bit better. You know, I don't care how good you are, how good you become as a painter. you're never going to get to the point where you're not making corrections and revising things. And the more comfortable you get with that, the better your paintings will be. My table, the back of my table is going to drop down quite a bit now to about here. Rather than getting frustrated when I, have a drawing issue or there's something that bothers me in my painting, I really find it pretty much a freeing thing to go in and make big changes, because I think the worst thing in the world is to sit there and look at your painting and say, well, I don't like it, but I'm not quite sure what to do. When you don't know what to do, you're just kind of stuck. But if you look at it and you say, oh man, I see a major drawing error here, that can be kind of exciting, because it gives you a way to get back into the painting. I've always been really fond of the expression that no painting is ever finished, it's only abandoned. And paintings get abandoned in all sorts of different stages. So let's mix up a bit of a lighter gray, just to give this bottle his form. I'll come back in and make that shadow stronger later, but I'm just getting the shape laid in as best I can right now. So he's kind of rounded up top and then tapers. Get that a little stronger. That's a better shape now. I'm going to try to come in with that pale blue. See how this Prussian works. That's not bad. Remember, we're still working with our limited palettes. Okay, so I've got the shape of that cylinder on there. I use a little bit of a medium blue to come in and start to give this bottle his shape. And you see now, as I start to put in my different colors and different values, it's starting to, become a new painting, not the compositional, without the compositional issues that I had before. And I like that the objects are a little bit bigger. so. All right, now I need to get back into this guy. He's got a little bit of reshaping that needs to be done. I'm going to draw just a little bit and then come in with my burnt sienna to get that color back where it needs to be. So see, we're moving the corner of that bottle from here to here. And then that will allow us to get over here to where it disappears behind the red one. And the neck, be something like this. Okay, I'm going to load up with that gray I had in the background again, or gray-green. Come in and clean that edge up. Got this guy lower than this guy somewhat in between. That feels about right. So I'm going to take a little bit of blue while I've got it here and just start to give that guy a little bit of a shadow using a cross contour line. And then coming right to the edge. Roll the excess off my brush. Bring back the burnt sienna. See, you use the lines to kind of map out where you want to replace things, and then just come in with your color and bring it right up to those forms. And it's like a new painting, or the issues that you were having before are gone. Just see a sliver of light through there. That'll be something that I'll come back to later on. And get some white mixed with my burnt sienna to get that nice light that's on the bottle there. Through here, and then that little sliver of light that shows up along here. Okay. Try to clean my brush some now so that I can get that yellow. There we go. Sure, I don't want to just take him down just a little bit more. Using my ochre more or less straight for the shadow side. Alright, that's feeling a lot better. Now I need to make some sense out of the table in the foreground since I've replaced or moved the objects quite a bit. Take that color right up to the edge. Like so. As close as I've gotten to the bottom of the canvas, I think I'm just gonna push the table on off the edge at that point. Alright, so I've made everything larger. I feel like my proportions are better now. This guy's still bothering me a little bit, but that's something that I'll continue to look at. You know, now that I've got my Prussian blue, that with the yellow ochre, I can make, you know, a halfway decent green. So I'm going to try that. So if you guys start with the ultramarine and you don't like the way it's looking, go ahead and bring your Prussian blue into the mix. Because yesterday when I was mixing the ultramarine and the ochre, it was just kind of a blah color there. So got some yellow ochre, bit of the Prussian, throw some white in. greenish tone for the background now. Slopes down more. I think that's what the problem with that side is. Yeah. Okay. Cut his height down just a little bit here. And this guy needs to be just a little bit lower over here. So I'll go ahead and cut him down like so. That makes a really nice greenish gray for the background on this. I want to punch up some of my darks. That shadow underneath this little aerosol can. Take it right up to the edge of the yellow one. Punch this shadow up a little bit. Okay. Get the shadow coming off this larger blue bottle in the background. Like so. Maybe now hint at those shadows on the back wall a little bit again. There's a bit of one here. Feel better about this now. I want to come in with a bit of a gray for some shadows on this bottle. Okay, these guys are looking pretty good. This is still a hot mess right now, but that's something that can be, I think, easily solved. But you see there's virtually no remnants of what I had earlier evident in the painting. mix some sienna with my blue now. Make that a little bit stronger there. Really get in and emphasize the difference between the shadow and the light on this bottle. I think I kind of lost that a little bit. That's looking better. Need to reimagine. If I come up the corner here, the actual neck of the bottle is a little bit farther to the left. Place him more like so. So to redraw that shape, come in with the background again. It's not always all just about lines. That's getting there. I want to take some white on my brush and brighten up the tabletop where the light is shining there, and get that a little stronger at this point. So if you feel like, you're not the world's greatest draftsman or draftswoman, it's okay to make mistakes, and as long as you get in and, try to correct things. This is not entirely where I want it to be, but it's much better than what I had initially. The shapes and proportions and placement of all of the objects are getting better. And this is something that I can then, go in and really build on and try to get a broader range of value and some more vibrant color as I develop it. But had I left the drawing the way it was, I would not have been happy with it. And I'm telling you, if you're not happy with the drawing of your painting, that's all you're ever going to see when you look at it. You're going to say, oh man, I wish I'd fixed that. And there's no reason not to. I would much rather you keep wrestling with the painting than just say, oh, well, I got it. This is good enough. You know what? It's not good enough. When you start compromising with your painting, it kind of all goes downhill from there. A little stronger light on the wall. That's not exactly the right color, but it's got the value that I want, so I'm just going to go with it right now. I never worry too much about, matching the color exactly, especially at the start of the painting, because I know I am always going to change it. It's a little bit like I was saying, why be careful multiple times when you can just be careful the last time and get it right and get the color where you want it. See, this bottle now is starting to have a little presence to him. This guy could certainly use brighter yellow with the white and the yellow ochre. But I think in terms of the lesson right now, I want you to get comfortable with and not fight the idea of making changes and moving things around in your paintings. So this is your correction episode, or whatever you'd like to call it. It is something I'd like you to keep in mind in all of your future paintings.